It doesn't start with fireworks. It starts with a sensation you don't know how to name. You stare at your phone, waiting for a reply that arrives slowly. Or not at all. They disappear for hours, sometimes days, then reappear with just enough warmth to convince your nervous system not to leave. Your chest tightens when they pull away. Your body relaxes when they come back. You call it chemistry. You call it attraction. You say, "There's just something about them." There is. But it's not what you think, because this isn't really about them. It's about what your nervous system learned to call love a long time ago. Two people can meet the same partner. One sees inconsistency and leaves. The other feels a rush and leans in. The difference isn't preference, it's conditioning. For some people, love feels like presence, words and actions lining up, stability, clarity, calm. For others, love feels like waiting, waiting to be noticed, waiting to be chosen, waiting for the text, the call, the sign that they still matter. Their hearts don't beat faster with security. They beat faster with uncertainty. If you keep finding yourself drawn to people who are hot, then cold, intense, then numb, close, then distant, you're not picking the wrong people. Your body is following an old script. Somewhere in your childhood, there may have been someone you loved who was emotionally unpredictable. Maybe one day they were warm, attentive, and safe. The next day they were distracted, angry, withdrawn, or gone. You never knew which version of them you would get, so you learned to scan their mood before you spoke. You learned to work for affection. You learned that closeness could disappear at any moment, and something ancient and invisible clicked. If I try hard enough, if I'm better, they'll stay. That belief does not vanish when you grow up. It becomes the gravitational pull behind every future attachment. Psychologists call this a trauma bond. It forms when the nervous system wires attachment to someone who is also a source of anxiety, pain, or unpredictability. It's not weakness, it's not stupidity, it's logic. Your nervous system remembers love is something unstable. Love must be earned. Trauma bonds are maintained by three mechanisms. 1. Intermittent reward. Affection arrives inconsistently, in bursts. Your brain learns to chase the reward harder. 2. Anxiety relief. The relief you feel when they finally respond is intoxicating. It turns pain into a cycle of chemical highs. 3. Self-blame. You assume the lows are your fault, so you internalize the work of fixing them. You don't crave the person. You crave the pattern, the unanswered text, the sudden attention, the silence followed by the emotional spike. Your brain treats that spike like a jackpot, the same neurological system that powers gambling and addiction. Trauma bonds form through repetition. Emotional inconsistency. You never know where you stand. Self-blame. You assume something is wrong with you. Occasional highs. Small moments of closeness that feel like salvation. Your brain learns, if I endure the lows, maybe I'll earn the high. So you stay. You justify their distance. You romanticize their complexity. You tell yourself the connection is rare, but under that story is something much simpler. Your nervous system has mistaken anxiety for love. Maybe you've noticed the pattern. People who are kind, steady, available, you lose interest. You say, they're nice, but there's no spark. With the unavailable ones, the spark is immediate. Your mind races. Your body tightens. You replay every interaction like evidence in a trial. You convince yourself they're special, that if you just show up correctly, they'll open up and choose you. But that isn't romance. It's a reenactment. You're not trying to win them. You're trying to win someone from the past through them. When a child grows up with inconsistency, the nervous system internalizes a brutal rule. If I were enough, they wouldn't leave. As an adult, that belief becomes, if I can get someone distant to choose me, I prove I was always worth staying for. So, you seek out emotional distance, not because you love pain, but because your unconscious is chasing redemption. You're trying to rewrite an old story using new characters. If this feels uncomfortably familiar, pause. Not to shame yourself, but to see yourself. You are not weak for wanting people who pull away. You are not pathetic for obsessing over a text. You are not broken for staying longer than logic says you should. You were trained to believe love requires endurance. That love is something you earn. That love is proven by how much pain you survive. Children will do anything for attachment, even abandon themselves. When you were young, you couldn't walk away. You couldn't say, "This isn't good for me." So, you did the one thing that let you survive. You abandoned your needs to protect the connection. You learned to shrink your feelings. You apologized for existing. You made yourself small and their comfort large. That wasn't weakness. That was intelligence. But what once saved you is now destroying you. As an adult, abandoning yourself looks different. You downplay how much their inconsistency hurts. You call their absence stress or they're busy. You make excuses for their silence. You avoid asking for clarity because you fear scaring them away. You accept crumbs and call it intimacy. You mistake occasional attention for love. You confuse being chosen sometimes with being valued always. Each time you silence your needs, the bond deepens. Not with them, with the pattern. Let me be honest with you. I once thought I was drawn to emotionally distant people because I was selective, because I had high standards, because I needed intensity to feel alive. But I noticed something unsettling. People who showed up with clarity and calm made me uncomfortable. Their kindness felt suspicious. Their availability felt like pressure. The inconsistent ones, they made me feel electric, alive, pulled towards something dangerous. It took me years to accept the truth. I wasn't attracted to the person. I was addicted to the roller coaster. Once I saw that, the spell began to fracture. Not in one day, but slowly. In every moment, I stopped lying to myself. So, what does healing actually look like? It doesn't start by forcing yourself to date people you feel nothing for. It doesn't start by calling yourself anxious attachment and accepting it as fate. Healing begins with witnessing. I'm not drawn to them. I'm drawn to the unpredictability. My nervous system is replaying an old survival pattern. You stop gaslighting yourself with, "I'm being dramatic. I'm too sensitive. I just need to be chill." You start asking, who does this dynamic remind me of? What belief about myself activates when they withdraw? Why does chaos feel like connection? Because buried beneath the attraction is a belief. I am lovable only when I'm chosen slowly, painfully, and at great cost. Here's the pivot that changes everything. You stop chasing intensity and start looking for capacity. Not, do they make my heart race? But, do they know how to show up consistently? Not, can I finally make someone like this stay? But, do I have to lose myself just to keep them? Because love is not proven by how much you can suffer. It is revealed in how safe you feel being honest. If you've spent years craving unavailable people, stable affection may feel boring at first. Calm might feel foreign. Predictability might feel suffocating. Trust might feel unearned. Your nervous system has been conditioned to treat chaos as home. So, when someone arrives with steady care, your first instinct will be to retreat. Not because they're wrong, but because they don't match the blueprint of pain. This is where actual healing begins. Healing does not mean never feeling attraction to distant people again. It means seeing the attraction clearly. It is a familiar alarm system, not a soulmate signal. It means letting someone respond without games, letting someone care and believing they mean it, letting someone stay. It means teaching your nervous system. Love that doesn't hurt is not fake. Love that doesn't confuse you isn't shallow. Love that stays is not boring. It is safe. So listen closely. If you keep falling for the unavailable, nothing is wrong with you. You are not cursed. You are not dramatic. You are not asking for too much. You're someone whose heart learned to survive on almost love, on mixed signals, on potential, on someday. But you do not have to keep living on emotional leftovers. Real love does not feel like waiting outside a locked door. Real love feels like a door that was open the entire time. One day, someone will walk into your life with consistency. They will text back. They will keep their word. They won't disappear when you express truth. And a part of you will panic. That's okay. Breathe. Don't run. You are not betraying your past if you choose differently now. You are honoring the child who waited for love that kept walking away. Until that day, your work is simple, but not easy. Notice when attraction is just anxiety wearing perfume. Notice when distance makes you chase instead of choose. Notice when you label chaos chemistry. Then remind yourself, I'm allowed to want more than this. I'm allowed to choose people who choose me back. I'm allowed to break the pattern. You are not needy for wanting consistency. You are not intense for wanting clarity. You are not difficult for craving depth. You're simply someone whose nervous system is finally tired of mistaking pain for love. And that realization, quiet, unwelcome, honest, is the moment the trauma bond begins to loosen. You didn't get to choose how love felt when you were young, but now, slowly, bravely, you can. And this time, love does not need to arrive wrapped in confusion. It can walk in calmly, clearly, and stay.